Hey guys, what is up? Steffi here, and I've had a few requests to do a little tutorial on how I make my villager breeder in the Plowcraft server on Minecraft. As you can see, some of them got their hearts on right now, so we maybe could see a baby. So doing like a little brief overlook, you can see that there is farmland involved, there are trap doors involved. Uh, I have half slabs this season. Last season I used glass blocks. As long as there is a one space gap, that's all that really needs. Um, there are water streams along the outside that lead off into the distance. These guys kind of go through a little fun little trip this way, and then they go this way, and then they go, oh, did I hear a baby? Yeah, there's a baby stuck right in there. Nice. Down into this way and into a little holding pen, which then they will use to get transported on out. But let's go back over here. There is a roof for lightning protection, and then there is a villager down below with 6 doors. As you can see, I wasn't stingy on what doors I used. It didn't really matter to me. And light access, and that includes the roof as well. So technically, if lightning struck like right here, the villagers inside here could be at risk of turning into witches, but hopefully not. But it's a really simple design. I had a couple tutorials on how I do it, so we're going to jump into a different world and I will show off exactly how I make it. Okay, so what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to have a relatively flat area. And I always start by digging a hole in the ground and placing my water bucket, and that signifies the center. And then I hoe out 4 on each side. Like that. And this will signify my 9 by 9 area. So then you're going to want to just fill in this whole area here. And this will be the farmland that your brown coat villager will end up farming. In order to do this, you are going to need at least 3 villagers to start with. However you bring them to your base, to your breeder, is up to you. Sometimes I use boat, sometimes I use minecart. However you bring them to your base is up to you. You are going to want to cover the water at some point in time. New recipes, yay! This is something I actually have yet to do on the Plowcraft server. You can use a lily pad, just stick that right on top, or you can use a carpet. So you would plant your crop and put the carpet over it as well. This just helps the villagers from falling into the water. I actually have not done this on the Plowcraft server yet. There's still a blank water. Every time I go over to the villager breeder, I always forget to do so. Okay, so after you get this kind of mapped out, you're gonna want to dig a space all the way around the villager breeder. Now, some people do one side, some people do 2 sides, some people just do like a spot in the corner. I like to go around all 4 sides just because it gives more of a chance for a villager baby to drop down. And I always go 3 down. So you're going to want to dig this area all out. This is where the water stream will go to transport the villagers to wherever you want them to be transported. And I will show you how I do that after. Okay, so after that's all dug out, I will come along and place trap doors along the outside. Opening them is, you know, I leave them open for now just to make it easier to get in and out. But they will eventually need to be closed, but we will just leave them all open. All right, and that's pretty much this part of it. You can then build up with your block of choice all the way around. Sometimes I've used glass so I can see completely inside. Sometimes, you know, this season I used wood. It really doesn't matter what block you use, just as long as the villagers are enclosed and safe. I've left the whole roof, the whole ceiling, glass before. This time I only have like a little section that is glass. But you're gonna want to enclose the villagers. And one very important factor is that you're gonna need lightning protection from the villagers. But so let's go up 3 high on all around the sides, and then we'll fill the top in with glass, just to kind of help see better. All right, so I went in and only filled in about half with glass blocks, just so we can get in and out easier at this point in time. Honestly, you don't need much room. Villagers are only the 2 high, so you really don't need a ton of room in here. You can also make this as big as you want. You can also then choose to use half slabs. You want to make it so that there's at least a 1 block gap for the baby villagers to go down. And you're going to want to cover all the sides. This way the adult villagers can't fall down into the gap, but the baby ones can. So you can use half slabs for this. In the past, I have also used glass. Like this, mostly because of this. In the past, when I've used glass, I had glass here as well. And then I would just double up the glass so you can see inside. So really it's all about the design that you want. Do you want to be able to see inside from the outside or not? So the design is really all up to you. So once you get this area in, you're going to want to get your villagers in. Now the big thing that you need is a brown coat villager. Not the brown coat with the apron, but a brown coat. So let's kind of see which ones we're gonna get. Okay, so a nitwit, he's not gonna really. Oh, and look, there. Okay, good. So we have a brown coat. So you're gonna want to start with 2 villagers, a brown coat and a nitwit, and you're gonna want to either give the villager 1 crop. I always suggest 1 crop. Don't have this be a mixture of crops. Give him 1 crop. So let's give him 64 carrots. He will eventually start to plant the land here. But the one thing we do need to do is he starting to plant? Oh, awesome. He is starting to plant. Cool. The one thing we are going to need to do is signify that this is a village. So what I do is I do a 3 block gap and I go 7 blocks down. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. So I go 7 blocks down and then I dig out 2 blocks underneath underneath the breeder itself. Now there's a couple ways that you can signify a village. There is even a way that you can signify a village without putting a villager down here. I'm not 100% sure on that option, so that's why I'm not going to share that with you today. But then you're going to put in your 6 doors. So there's only, with digging out the 2 spaces, there is only places for 6 doors here. You're going to dig out your 6 doors, and then you're going to want to place a couple of torches. Sometimes you can go above or right here in front. You won't be able to place any torches inside here because of where the doors are. And then somehow you're going to want to get your villager in here. Usually I mine out like a set of stairs here, like this, to get my villager in. But you're going to want to get a villager in here. Let's fill this one with dirt. Okay, so let's get a random villager in here. Usually this is my place for my nitwit. I like to, if I gather a nitwit, I put him down there so he can play with the doors all day long if he wants. And then the big thing is it needs sky access. So make sure you cover that with glass and that there is nothing above it as well. So because those 3 doors right there need sky access. And then that villager just kind of lives down there and he plays with the doors all day. That's what he does. He is not in danger of lightning strikes at all. So he is perfectly fine. Okay, so this farmer villager is working hard. He's doing a great job planting this farmland. This farmland will eventually grow. He'll harvest it and he'll start throwing it to the other villager. Let's put in a total of 4 villagers here. Really all you need to start this is with 3 villagers, 2 for the farmland and 1 down below. I do like to put in 4. These guys have meshed as 1. I do like to put in 4 at times. It gets it working a little bit faster. Okay, so once these guys are working, because the crops do take a little bit of time to grow, I like to start on the waterway. So what I usually do is I look around and, you know, figure out where I want to transport the villagers to. So let's say that we're going to transport them off in that direction. So what I will do, so I'm here underneath my area. Let's grab some signs. I start in the opposite corner on which I want to send them, and I place water down. And then water will flow so many blocks. You're going to want to put a sign after it and a sign above. So this is where the water ends, a sign right after and a sign above. And then you're going to place your next water source right there. So that way this water source continues on and the villagers will keep moving. So you'll do that again here. And then I'm going to go around to the other side and have the same thing over here. So sign here and here. Water source there. Okay, so this part here gets a little bit tricky. We'll put a sign here, here with a water source here. Okay, so now all the water sources are flowing together and out this way. So then usually what I will do is dig for a while. Sometimes I dig down. I will dig for a while. Make sure you do light it up just in case. You want to give your villagers a fun little access. And wherever the water stops, you want to place another sign, another water bucket, and keep going until you are at your destination. Okay, so let's just say our destination is right here. Let's dig up. Let's just say your destination is here. I usually like to send them a little bit farther along so they are not really confused into that villager breeder, into the village itself. I'm not 100% sure on the numbers, that how far, if these villagers will mesh with the villager down below and stop making that infinite, or how far away. I like to take them at least 40 blocks away, honestly. I would take them a lot further than this. But in order to make my villager holding cell, what I usually end up doing is making a 5x5. So let's do a little bit of digging out here. Alright, so my little holding area I made ends up being a 5x5. And I have that a 5x5 for a specific reason. And I always put a water source in the corner. So the villagers will come down this way, they'll hit this water source, and they'll all kind of pool up in this area here where there is no block. I have it that way because then it's easiest to transport them out by making a little rail system. In this rail system, okay, so in this 5x5 area, we have the corner block, which is empty. And I usually leave it so that there is a block gap here. you want to dig out a couple blocks this way and then have a couple blocks that way. So there's the bottom of the villager breeder, the line going out. We'll kind of have it go that way, snake around that way. The line going out is on the next block, and then the line going in is on this block here. All right, so let's go ahead and grab some rail, not activator. We'll grab that. We want a dispenser. For now, we'll grab a button, and we'll grab some dust. Okay, so what you're gonna want to do, is you're gonna want to put a minecart rail there, and the water's not gonna harm it. And then you're going to bring the rail out and around as much as best as you can. Leave that rail there and grab some powered rail. Put powered rail there. You can do a couple. I probably wouldn't go more than 3 though. And then you're going to want to put your dispenser there. So dispenser and 3 rails going up. And then you can come in here and delete that 1 rail. Just as long as the rail coming down is like that and the rail going up is like that. Okay. And then actually we'll just put a button on the side here to kind of signify however your input coming in is. If we get a couple of minecarts, if I spell minecart correctly. All right, let's grab a couple of minecarts to place in here. And then usually what I'll do is I'll put a hopper coming out the back with a chest full of minecarts. Whenever you push the button, the minecart will go sailing off, up in through here. It will grab a villager that is there and be off on its way. So that is why I usually make the 5x5 here. Coming back over to the villager breeder. Oh, it looks like the stack of 64 didn't do the full amount. So now that we have the rail system in, you can come or the waterway. You can come in here and open up all of these trapdoors. I usually save this for last because when you're making that pathway, you really don't want to deal with any villagers that happen to fall down on in. Because sometimes that can become a big pain. Let's just hit on a villager there. Okay, yeah. Okay, so let me just hit on these guys. So let's just say these guys have their hearts on and they all made babies. There we go. So we have a couple of babies going on. Oh, and a couple of them have fallen already. Awesome. So they have fallen down on in. And they're going to make their way over to the trading hall eventually. Let's see if we can watch this guy. I see him back there. He's making his way. Unless he got stuck in the waterway. We might need to help him out. Sometimes the babies will get stuck in the waterway, but that's okay because, yeah, see, like that one's stuck in that little gap because there really is no water pushing them. But when they do grow up, they will get pushed down on in. So it looks like all 4 of the babies have made it. Let's go give them a help and a push down on in. Here's 2 of them right here. Come on, guys. Into the water stream. There they go. So they are in through the water stream and down into the hall, which in where they will grow up. Okay, so let's just bring in a couple of adult villagers just to pretend. Okay, we have some adult villagers in here. And oh, that baby got out. I usually don't have an issue with the babies getting out, but you might want to put a half slab there just in case. Okay, so now that there's villagers in your trading hall, all you have to do is push the button. I figured that baby was going to cause an issue. All you have to do is push the button. Okay, there he goes. He's out running around. He probably shouldn't cause much of an issue anymore. Push the button. It will grab a villager, and then you can go on your way and taking him wherever he needs to go. Let's do just a couple more. So we'll push the button. It grabs the villager. And as you can see, they don't get hurt by a glass block. No, he's a cartographer. He would have been one that been like, ah, no. Yep, push the button. It will even grab the babies that are there as well. And they don't get hurt, which is nice. So you can send them wherever you need to go now. Coming back over to the villager breeder, you will want to eventually enclose this whole thing in so that your villagers are protected from mob spawns. If there is room, you will want to put in a couple of torches just to be on the safe side and to make it nice and light in here. Torch placement doesn't matter. You could spam the whole, the whole place if you would like. But yeah, torches are a nice little part of it. And then the next thing you are gonna want to do is place a some sort of protection from lightning strikes. So lightning strikes can bother them 3 blocks out. So luckily, if a villager is standing here, they're already 1, 2, and then this one would be 3. So you are going to want an overhang. So 3 blocks out and 3 blocks up. So what I usually end up doing is at a corner, I go up 1, 2, and 3, and then I place my half slab there. And then you're going to want to go out and leave at least 1 overhang. Fill in the entire roof above it, just as lightning protection. If you are in a thunderstorm and there is lightning, if lightning were to strike any of this area here, the villagers could turn into witches and despawn. So you're going to want to cover this whole area on top with the half slabs or any other block of choice, just as a lightning protection. And then when it comes to this part, though, you are going to want to leave it open. So if lightning were to strike anywhere on this glass block area and any of the villagers were standing right into here, they could have a chance on becoming a witch. But that is a little bit of a chance that you might have to take. Is this one overhang on the side? No. So yeah, so continue filling in this whole thing, continue filling in your top, but that's basically the villager breeder that I use. Design and everything is always up to you on how you want it to look. I actually really like the look of the polished andesite and the cyan glass a lot. But yeah, these guys will start, they'll just end up throwing carrots to one another and they will start breeding. Yeah. All right, guys, thank you so much for watching this video today. I hope this helped you make a villager breeder and selection chamber here. If you have any other questions, feel free to ask. I was getting questions on how I make my villager breeder and was asked to make this tutorial. So yeah, any other questions you might have, just feel free to ask, and I hope to help you out later. But until next time, guys, thanks, and have a great day. Bye!